Greetings, welcome to the beasts. They're caught in the Timetwist. Whoa, what are we gonna do?
Whoa! Crazy.
Oh my god.
Better untwist ourselves in session 17. Before recap, this campaign is not intended to be alternating between combats and difficult abstract puzzle situations forever, but that's what it's been lately. Sorry, I'm going to try and speed through this next little bit. We did some off-camera stuff after last session, so if people are like suddenly inspired to go in certain directions, maybe that's why.
Dream sounds good.
Yay.
We're going to spend 3 hours figuring out how to get this to work.
I just realized I had last week's session as the 25th instead of the 5th. I just fixed that for the highlight.
Good.
Okay, who's going to recap for Creamsicle and everyone else?
Me?
I
can
recapped
do-
the last 2 weeks in a row.
I can do it. Let's see what I wrote down here. So, finding Garrick in the cave after escaping the crocodiles, the party talks with him on if they forgive him or not, with Cashmere provoking him by making him feel worse, while Crim does the opposite. They resolve to forgive him and take him along back to town, but not before Devron and Otter stops them before they leave and plead with them to give them the power Garrick has. Ultimately, Devron leaves, and the party decides to lure zombies away so the townspeople can get away while they figure out what to do. Oh, nice dice. Alex uses his augury spell and learns that giving Reginald the power will lead to a good result. They try, and it doesn't work. As in, they try and give the power over, but they can't do it.
So we gotta figure out how.
This new dice set was a gift from a player of the previous campaign. A very late Christmas gift. They're pretty nice. I'm gonna use them this
Very
session.
nice.
Everyone just get their Christmas mail recently. It's just so funny.
Well, I won't say when my birthday is, but I just got my my birthday gift from my parents like the day before my dad's birthday.
wow.
There's like, months apart.
Yeah, that is true.
Go ahead.
I think. Oh, no, never mind. That's something different. Birthday gift, not a Christmas gift.
I think there was a second augury too that was like, oh, if Reginald were to somehow have the power, things would be
The first
good.
one is if Garrick gave it to one of us. Maybe it would be okay. And then there was specifically if it was given to Reginald. And it's like, this is a good result!
Okay. I believe you are still in that nearby, much smaller town of Unted, northeast half a day from Valandria, or had you started heading back to Valandria to meet with Garrick? I think the latter.
We did go back to Valandria, and we last, I think, had met with him, and I think we realized what we tried to do immediately didn't work.
Yeah. So the problem was we weren't able to pass it along, and now we're figuring out other ways that, like, we were trying to deduce how to do that, basically.
So you got Garrick here, somewhat older, uplifted tilapia with his doofy little blue tunic and stripes, just looks uncomfortable. You got Reginald, the upright, uptight, uplifted rooster, who's looking a little bit impatient at this point. And then you all and Huston, along with your wagons of precious silk and other trade goods, maybe 2 stone throws away from the heart of a zombie nation in Valandria. It is early afternoon. So, any other ideas to try? Consulted your spirits or deity or whatever? What is your plan?
Maybe the zombies need to forgive us.
Regarding that theory that one of us came up with, Will, do you or I want to do it? Because I believe we have the highest int characters to deduce it.
Well, I'll let you go ahead because I'm kind of having to remember the exact details of it myself. And
Hell yeah,
I just
time
think,
for my int score to play.
I just think that I recalled that it might result in us having to go back to the town we were just at.
Not
Depending on what it is.
necessarily. Possibly. There are two theories. Let's go with the one that may not require going back. So Crim's like thinking it over, concentrate, thinking what else was in common. Well, yeah, sure, we beat all of. Well, we're gonna have to rule out the one that literally left the power behind because that doesn't really fit in any case. It's always been separate. It was some other magic, but the other two, yeah, we beat them. And they were vulnerable and things like that. But when I think about it, maybe they also did something else. What were they saying? In a way, both of them sounded kind of like a confessional at some point. Okay, does Crim know what confessionals are?
I imagine
Sure.
those are common enough in a world where gods are objectively real.
Yeah.
They probably have
I'm
those
just
a
trying
lot.
to imagine. Yeah, I'm trying to imagine a scenario where Crim's just like trying to stuff himself into a confession box. And
Hey, he wasn't
Um,
always a big dragon.
yeah, I know, but now, and then okay, Crim will then say, yeah, like a confessional, which is, could that be it?
Oh, it's, I guess, opening your heart was part of how I gained my powers.
That's true. Like, when I think about it, and then he turns to Garrett. Didn't you mention that it felt like it was loosening around the same time that you were kind of telling things that you never really expressed before? Maybe you have to just do that. Say something.
Suppose.
Yeah, try saying something that, I don't know, you've never told anyone.
This is your therapy session, Garrick.
Oh, I don't like those.
All right. I
Probably
suppose I'm
related to
rather
this.
guarded, typically, especially lately. I've had to protect it and protect myself. That's what I'm. Anyway, sure. What to tell? Reginald will also kind of beckon him to a nearby fallen log to sit on. It seems like he's familiar with this process too.
Turner is thinking but not saying, oh, look, he might actually finally be useful.
Well,
Do you think what Alex proposed of you seeking the approval of higher authorities in order to avoid responsibility, do you believe that true?
Asking Garrick.
Yeah.
I don't think that's everything. Maybe there's some subconscious thing at play like that. I don't think that's solely responsible for my behavior, though. No.
I see. Fair enough.
All right. Well, what's something I haven't told anyone? This won't be easy. Bear with me. All right. One time I was doing a procedure on a 14-year-old, if I recall. He was an uplifted kangaroo, actually. A boy. Not yet grown. It was a chaotic setting. There was an oil shortage, not enough lamp light, bad weather. We were working by a single divine light instead of the multiple lanterns required for proper unshadowed visualization of the field of the procedure. Using sterile towels to control the bleeding, lots of instruments. It was getting cluttered. It was prolonged. You, Wade, probably could picture something like this.
Yeah. Was it during the war or after?
Was during. So we closed up the abdominal incision. I felt like I was forgetting something. Then the assistant said we're down a hand towel. And it dawned on me first that it was still in him. To this day, it's still in him.
G-Tal.
He must be in his 20s now, and that's why we do counts of all tools before and after. Before and after closing them up, that is. I mean, it's probably not infected. It's probably nothing catastrophic, but there'll be this uncomfortable, hard spot. You might think it's scar tissue, but it's probably blood-clotted cloth or something. Unnecessary, completely, because of me.
Wow.
It's not unlike what all these people feel. That sort of persistent, aching pain.
Hmm.
He winces and looks like he's getting more and more into the weeds of his mind and that bad memory. And as he leans back to put a hand on the log he's sitting on, looking very vulnerable and guilty, he is ejected backwards off the log, landing flat on his back. And a glimmering golden light floats into the air before him.
This is going to be really hard to convince people to do sometimes.
Because it
All
actually
right,
worked.
Reginald. Looks like you're up.
Yep, Reginald is already stepping forward, and not with eagerness or greed, but this is the plan, this is my cue. And he goes in, and he grabs the light, unless anyone stops him.
I cast Hold Person.
No.
No.
We have 2 players without powers who need them, damn it. We gotta find another source.
Betrayal.
I'm just imagining this scenario later on where we beat the person and then we pin them down. It's like, tell a secret, damn you.
Slap face.
Funnily enough, I actually have Hold Person prepared right now.
Oh my
Open
God.
your heart to us.
And that light suffuses his taloned hand, shoots up his arm, his feathers down beneath his clothes, and is lost to sight. But his eyes close. You fancy you might see an illumination from behind them for a moment, perhaps, in the shadowed forest periphery. He takes a big breath through his beak and lets it out and opens his eyes. I see. Well, it
So,
worked.
usually an instinct comes along here. Do you know what to do?
Yes, I seem to know how it works. It's... This will be tricky. I think that... Well, the way he was describing it, a stasis, like a medicinal sort of stay put. The way I experience this is more nourishing. I want to heal them. I want to keep them in a healthy state. I think I can take away at least most of their pains. Yes.
Can you do it on a large scale, or will this be on an individual basis?
Oh, I'll have to do it one by one. Yes, but I can do it.
And
Well, we
we're
can at
doing
least
so.
start with the stragglers and then work our way to the core. It'll be thinner.
Google.
Please wait.
And we're doing so. Take away something important from you.
I don't think so. I don't sense a sort of limit, like the charges of a wand or a spell scroll burning upon being cast. No.
You lucky bastard.
Neither do I, but I still have a feeling that overusing this. Well, we saw the result of Garrick's.
Well, I don't think we have a choice here.
Well, at the very least, let's not rush through this. Despite the pain they are feeling, we can't. We have to be careful about how we're doing this.
Crim kind of, while this is happening, Crim kind of crawls over to see how Garrick's doing.
How do you feel, friend?
Looks good. He's rolling his shoulders. He grabs you. Maybe you help him up. He just seems to be marveling at something going on in his head, but he does cut in with the conversation. Better one victim than, 500, if you ask me. No
How do you
offense,
feel?
Reginald.
A weight off your shoulders?
Yes. Yes, I think so. Or at least something off my shoulders. I feel like... Tell me to do something.
March into town right now and heal those people.
No, I don't think I will.
Alright. Better yet, wait till
We have
take
to.
out. But we don't take out a draw dagger and just do a little just flick horizontally across like one of his fingers.
Ah.
Medic, I need some triage.
Let me do something like that next time.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there's a point where it's a little reasonable, isn't it?
He looks at the bleeding wound of your finger clinically. I'm not sure why you... Alright. He steps closer and grabs your wrist and starts looking at
I'm
why
trying to see if you can heal 2d8 plus 15 HP.
No, he would start going for some wound care supplies.
Yeah. Alright, so in battle, this guy's fucking useless. That's fine.
And either way, Cashmere would come up to him and like put his hand on his shoulder. You don't need to do that.
You mean help Wade?
No, Garrick put his hand on Garrick's shoulder.
Oh. Right. I can do what I want to do. Got it.
Well,
Yeah.
would you want to act as a diversion when we need to assemble the horde?
Yeah. Sure, let's do it. Let's reverse what was done, or at least change it.
Well, I think that goat over there sprained her ankle.
Sorry. I was gonna say something snide, but that's not in character for him. Okay. Oh yeah, he will start going along with Reginald. And that goat would lurch towards Garrick, complaining angrily about how much pain he's in, like he's in a cycle of pain. And Reginald would step forward suddenly, touch that person on the head for half a second. And then the goat, he stops saying that, looks down at his ankle, rolls it, winces. That's not as bad as it was. Thank you, Father, says to Reginald.
Hey, do you know how long you've... Never mind.
I would advise, we're going to go through this field ad nauseum, aren't we? I would advise going towards the outskirts of town while we help the rest.
Okay.
There's a day in the future where you'll probably feel horribly sick and in moderate pain. And unfortunately, I think you should be grateful for it.
Yeah. He looks confused, starts asking why he's here. He thought he was over at the tavern. He was trying to drink away his pain, but kind of like he was in a dream. He just was in this pain dream for so long. We're able to maybe reorient him, and he just is thoughtful about it all.
Say something like, we'll tell everybody at once. We don't want to have to explain this literally hundreds of times.
I imagine they'll have to at least a couple of dozen, because people are going to be like, wait, what the hell's going on? Blah, 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 blah. Go, get the fuck out of here!
Okay.
As we're going through town, I'm gonna ask Reginald, so do you think you're, undoing it, or is it just fixing this one specific problem they have?
I had my suspicions, and now I have my confirmation. I'm sorry to relate. I am not reversing or removing anything. I'm only putting this stasis in a more soothing, nourishing environment, I feel, such that they're not perseverating about their woes and aches that they've accumulated. It's more of a pleasant state, I think. But I don't know if I can ever undo it completely. If only we could... You've seen other powers? Find one that's gonna override this, or alter it, or figure out where it came from. I don't know.
Well, it's better than before.
Yeah. I don't know where we're going to find another power like that.
Well, we can't worry about it right now. We've got
Right.
our work cut out for us for the time being.
Let's just hurry.
I say, Garrick, if these people's suffering didn't exonerate you, what you're doing now certainly will.
Indeed, we all have our duties, and we cannot shirk them. We all have our roles to play, so let's get to it now.
Yeah, cut to like a musical montage, us like healing people.
We see them in more and more absurd locations as we start thinning them out.
It's like, wait, let's go on.
We found like a bear who's like halfway stuck through a window.
It's way too upbeat, like pop music in the background.
Oh my god.
People start doing like synchronized dance numbers in the background as you add to their numbers.
The zombies. The zombies
Yeah.
do the dancing.
They start doing Thriller.
Like that one bit from Bayonetta.
Who is proficient in insight?
I am.
Oh no.
Although, I would be cool with that.
Give me some insight checks, please, if you are.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's 17. I forgot to do that.
That's cool. You are naturally, even when you're not meaning to, focused on people's body language and kind of what they're thinking about, what they're doing. You can detect a change in Reginald as this process goes on. He seemed, where previously he might have wanted to sit and rest or wallow in the sadness or his lapse in faith, whatever. He's just go, go, go. Like he's driven by something. Something like negative or nefarious about it. He's just like, oh, no, on to the next one. Like we all duty, duty, duty.
Well, from Cashmere's perspective, he's well on board with keeping things moving. So he's not going to say anything right now, but he's definitely keeping an eye on him. At least a little bit.
Okay. All right, then I think it's safe to say after a few hours with whatever strategy you utilize, this town is not, everything's back to normal, and you probably will need days, if you are still here when that happens, to track down all of them inside and outside and explain, but at least as at the time of sunset today, the mood is very different. People are still concerned and in pain, but they can suppress it. They aren't in this strange loop. You're able to address a lot of why this has happened. There's some thankfulness, some gratefulness, and a lot of recovery to do as well.
I imagine with not everyone really needing to be part of like the actual, apprehending people, there can always be at least one person on standby to talk to the soothed people to keep them in the loop as much as they can.
Mhm.
And they can probably jump in and help as well, now that since their heads are clear.
Can we do it?
Yeah.
There's still like a dozen dead people from the initial fight.
There was only
I
like
think we
one
only
or
actually
two
hit
people
one.
killed.
Everyone
Yeah.
else was.
Well,
We were very careful about that.
we only killed one. That doesn't mean that, there weren't other casualties.
That one person who got hit by that acid splash in that melee, if they went down and became a true corpse, it's not there right now. But you haven't had your eyes on that spot, all the time. Plenty of injuries to go around too.
Sounds good. Well,
Yeah, I was actually wondering if the stasis effect would act like gentle repose, and so like
Would
guess we'll
Alex
never know.
would Alex specifically
Alex remains blissfully unaware that he killed somebody.
Oh, I see. I was going to ask if Alex would specifically try to seek out that person, but if he's not even aware, then
You could.
yeah, well, if this was not your home Reginald before, it certainly shall be now. Well, as long as your days.
We're gonna
Yes,
definitely. We'll try to find a way, but do you think that's about set by the time this is over? Like you don't have to retreat any of them. It's just they won't loop again.
I think this new effect has effectively changed and overridden the previous one, and it will be with them till the end of their days. However, that has changed.
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Suppose
Crim
technically
seems to be
they
lost in thought about something else right now.
suppose technically they probably won't get new injuries.
It has not stopped aging. They're not immortal. I know that. It's not a power for any mortal hands. But yes, I don't think they will experience injuries or illness the same way ever again.
To be fair, we all thought the same thing a few weeks ago.
We sure did.
Right you are.
Reginald, do you feel any different at all?
I am just so pleased and grateful that things can go back to how they were before and that I am able to provide a more direct physical benefit in addition to the spiritual nourishment that I've always granted this population. Why?
That's great. That's great. I'm just wondering, don't run like Garrick did, or we'll come back. He gives it a big smile.
Does he give a thumbs
Wow.
up?
Interesting.
But don't worry about it. I think you have it under control.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
it is great. Everything's great.
used it for hours, and it looks like it worked out for now. Though we'll probably be back anyway at some point, hopefully, if we ever discover a power that can, get things actually back to normal, just in case there are other unforeseen side effects. We should find a way for you to have contact with us somehow. Does anyone know sending? That might be useful later.
Yes.
I think that I think that should be in his repertoire if he's powerful enough for it. But
Right.
on the subject of power, I bequeath you not to come to rely on this to the extent that Garrick did. I know there were special circumstances that we had to deal with today, but only in the most dire.
Such knowledge of spellwork you all possess. I assure you, I believe, as today is shown, we have everything under control, but if you feel the need to return, sure, and of course I will answer any magical messages you send.
Also, if we ever meet again, we have to fight more Gricks, I'll make sure to fight them in a church with you.
Church de Chantea, no doubt you will see.
Yeah. We'll fix all of this. Somehow.
It's
Somehow.
funny.
I used the wrong word there.
Although there is one thing that we should probably think about now. That otter. He seemed to be. He's probably nearby at some point. We should. As long as he has things under control for now, maybe he'd be fine with leaving him as is, and then maybe, I don't know. Crim kind of shifts awkwardly.
I don't think
think we can leave the decision for what to do if they meet again up to Reginald.
And
Okay.
and despite the namesake, I don't believe he has any authority over these powers.
I don't think it's the namesake. It was just the way he behaved.
If we wish to-
Any.
Sorry, go on.
Anyway, Reginald, make sure you have a secret in your back pocket in case we ever need to do an emergency change of powers. Just in case. Right now, things seem fine, though.
I'll have to think of one then. I'm an open book. He's not an open book.
I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm sure your brother will know something.
You're not one to give up easily, or in Garrick's case, throw in the towel.
You know, the funniest thing is, like, as a paladin, he probably does have a secret, but it's like the most innocuous thing in the world.
Yeah.
But like to him, it's like, extremely shameful. Like, I jumped on the bed when no one was looking.
Like, I actually think that this other god's kind of cool. Oh, God bless me.
Yes, I spent 5 minutes on that pun, guys.
He definitely looks a little uncertain when you say that, Turner. Like, his eyes are shifting rapidly. Oh, God, what does my brother know? But just
Wow.
nods pleasantly.
As for you, Garrick, what now?
Oh, Garrick.
As far as I can tell, I don't think you will need to pay any legal penalty to the town. So it's entirely up to you.
I've always wanted to help people with disease, especially chronic, debilitating disease. It's not going to change. And this is my home. It has been for decades, so I'll be here. And whatever comes, I'll face it. There was tragedy here, and I'm sure I will have to answer for it. That's okay.
You helped. Came back. Yeah.
Well,
again,
when we...
What?
No, you.
I would say you're not one to throw in the towel, but after that story,
Can we not?
Alex gives like a disapproving.
Even Crim kind of remarks, "No, I know I'm not good at the social thing, but that was pretty bad."
I apologize.
Is your HP less than 100, Wade, for purposes of power work?
Well, that being said, Crim kind of tries to pivot. We're probably going to be heading back there anyway, just to, let them know about how things are, and we can at least vouch for you a little bit on the circumstances, and then after that, yeah, we'll have to be on our way.
At the very
But
least,
we're glad that things are crazy.
at the very least, those here who saw what we had to do can be an alibi if they're feeling forgiving. Referring to the ones that they had to corral, who knew that he was a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, Reginald and Garrick agree, yeah, we can explain the truth of what happened. No need for secrets. Everyone deserves to know, yada yada. They'll send some people up to Unted to give them the update. And they can immigrate back to town if they wish. Migrate, okay.
Just to dab on them, Wade would also do a little ritual, just send some animal messengers, like carrier pigeons, just to shout, "Hey, everything's cool."
Okay, cool. Yeah, that is appreciated. It speeds things up so that people can be ready for the morning. And one other thing. That goat that Turner initially pointed out, who had been the first one and kind of just tracking you uncertainly and watching this all unfold, maybe catching pieces of your conversation. That
was just an arbitrary species, and I apparently misgendered him.
He takes off an earring that is this beautiful multi-shaded purple color and presents it to you guys. Speaking of not forgetting, no secrets and all that, I think you all deserve a token of appreciation, which I'm sure many would wish to give you once they understood what happened here. This is called Memory Echo, and it will ensure that you at least don't forget. Take it, please.
It's a pleasure. Appreciate it, sir.
What's it do?
Turner will take a look at it and...
Or do you remember?
Who am I? No. He starts explaining, and
It's like
this is what I
the guy
think
that
it is.
it's like that guy in Pokemon that gives you the stone that makes people way lighter, and they turns into a hiker.
probably Nelmo. Here you go, in loot and Foundry in a sec.
Oh God!
Yeah,
just by
there
the
it
name
is.
of it.
It is different than prior campaign, just so you know. But same flavor. Oops, typo. I should say relived.
It's to compensate for no superpowers this arc.
So, for some context, in the previous campaign, this is also for Snap's benefit, we had this little doll that we called Echo that you can ask. It basically listens to everything that is being said around it. I forget what the radius was, but you can basically say, "Hey Echo, replay the conversation of blah blah blah," and it'll basically replay any conversation that it heard throughout this time period. It's kind of like a meta way for Tao to not make us have to do arbitrary memory checks for something that we might have forgot out of character about something, as well as we found actual mechanical uses for it, when we're trying to say, "Hey, this happened here. You were there, and then you said this, blah blah blah."
Here's proof.
Yeah,
We can't do that anymore.
We'd actually use that in a court case that we were in.
It was really good though.
This item has been nerfed.
Yes, significantly. But yeah, I just figured for at least tax benefit, so he knows what the hell we're talking about.
All right.
The core quality of life remains, though, so that's the important part.
And
Who's-
also go ahead.
Nope, you're right.
I guess we should resolve this. Yeah, who is going to take this? Are you going to throw it in his face?
Crim does not have an ear.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where Alex is supposed to put it.
I would
Pierce it
suggest
through his gill.
two options here. Because we have Mr. Ears himself, Cash is a very obvious person who, if you want to like flaunt it around, I think as like the party face, it also makes sense for Wade to potentially be wearing it.
Actually, those are the only two people who can wear it.
Cashmere's already wearing an earring too, by the way. I have yet to mention it. I probably should. Actually, yeah. So
Upper can have that. Or...
Tell us about Cashmere's earring.
Actually, Cashmere, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cashmere holds out his hand. Here, give it here. Let me take it.
Oh, okay. He gives it to you.
I like the idea of Alex trying to put it on and he just starts suffocating to death.
I see you're
Probably would just bring like.
Yeah,
Turn.
Cashmere pulled his ear down and unclips the one earring from his. I think it's its right ear. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was it right?
Yeah,
Yes,
I can see it
gate
in the
ear.
art. I was not gonna say it, Namo.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm gay, so he's allowed to make that joke.
It's about time I took this off. And then he swaps them out.
Oh, and I thought you were starting a collection.
I thought those grew.
Well, I only have the one hole there, unless you want me to make another.
Turner just looks at Crim like baffled. What?
I've never met a rabbit before, and I know that some animals have hard mineral spot. Never mind.
Well, now that we have this power, you must all know, in case any of us get captured or otherwise replaced, password to know that's actually us is 6A1-4EQKD1UY.
Wait, you gotta specify the capitals.
Austin starts reaching for like an inkwell. And...
Crim looks like he already memorized it.
I'm not gonna remember. Oh, fuck. Right.
Right.
Wow, that's actually super useful. Holy shit.
Yeah, you think back to 3 seconds ago, and it's like in your mind's eye, he's like speaking audibly. It's like a replay it.
We'll probably want to make.
Well,
Give me Wade.
We'll probably want to make a
I
new one
can't
now
even-
since we have others.
I can't even give Bugle Resolve because I didn't used it yet, but I totally would have. Take that.
What's the password, guys? 8 minutes later. Ampersand 2.
All right. Well, now we'll all at least know what pi is.
All right. Well, I'll add that to my items.
Very good.
Also, a guinea pig gives you a scroll that he says will cast the spell enemies abound.
Oh, jump, gee, thanks.
Cool.
Neat.
Stop chewing on cords.
I think I think this place will at least be comfortable enough to rest for the evening, and then we should probably get back on the road tomorrow.
I think Huston would be pretty restless too. But I guess knowing that it's the last day will help.
Yeah, I'm ready to get out of here. I don't know about the rest of you.
I'm ready for a mundane visit to patrol and help sell silk.
Okay. Then you are able to get ready for sleepy times. And
Sleepy
Huston
times.
would offer to lay out the map and try and figure out where you guys want to go next.
I mean, want to go is a bit of an odd question. Do we have a route that we're following for sales?
I want to go to the Kara to Savannah. I'm just kidding.
Huston suffers a severe heart attack, and now you have to decide where to go.
Oh no!
Yeah, he says you have options. He's like,
Okay.
I was going to book passage at Philandria across Twin Lake to Mamelon, but there's some issues with that industry there. I mean, I'm sure they'd be glad to help us, but I was thinking we could circumvent the lake, either go southwest, past Home Island towards the bridge, circle up to Mamelon, or we could go along the eastern coast
What's
to get to Mamelon that way.
So our specific destination is Mamelon?
Yes, I think that is historically a good spot to do some silk trade, and from there, my plan would be to definitely get boat passage along the eastern coast of the continent, maybe hit Ilio, and then we can. Well, no need to decide right now.
Well, if
nice being
there's
home.
well, if there are problems with Twin Lake,
What were the issues that you had on the road? 'Cause I'm wondering if, well, considering the trend, I wonder if we're going to be busy again.
Did I mention issues on the road?
Or did he say something
I
about
think
like
you-
some industry or some problem?
issues with the industry in Mamelon.
Oh,
No, in
okay.
Valandria. I may have misspoken.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry. He meant, okay, we can't really get passage out of Valandria with boats.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So our options are specifically southwest to go around the lake, or
Oh.
Those are his two options he's indicating.
okay, seems like
Seems to
one of
me
them-
like going north is faster.
going north might be faster, but are there bridges to cross those rivers? Those are pretty big, I think.
Oh, yes, there should be bridges, of course. This part of the world isn't that wild, despite what some of you city slickers might think. Just a little jab. But it is through heavy woodland, and there's a very nice road once we get out of the woods to the southwest. Hey, maybe some of you want to see the Middle Hills? I don't know.
I'd be lying if I
Crim
said
points
I
at
go first.
Crim points at this structure just at the north of Twin Lake. What's this?
That's
Oh,
Mamelon,
that's
right?
Mamelon.
Oh, that's the entirety of Mamelon.
City of
I've never
Laws.
been there.
Very,
Obviously.
very old place.
Well, personally, I already went past the Middle Hills once before. It's nice. I wouldn't mind going past there again. I'm also a little sick of trees, but that's just me.
You know, you took the words
Yeah.
right out of my mouth.
We've got wagons. We probably want to get onto a road as fast as possible.
Yeah,
Mhm.
unfortunately, it looks like we're going to be going through a bunch of trees for a while, but are we familiar with the south route? He kind of glances at Huston for that one. If they go west to get to the bridge and then the roads, is that easier than navigating directly north in terms of familiarity?
I think I know. I've been both ways at some point in my life.
I'll
I don't-
maybe ask if anybody in town has like a more detailed map of this specific area.
Or if they know anything about travel in either directions. That'd be a good idea, just asking them real quick.
Yeah, it's a good idea. You get resolve, Alex. Yeah, see if there's any trouble, bandits, weather, people who can freeze people's diseases, that sort of thing.
Just be advised, Alex and Crim, you may have to be a bit more reserved at the gates.
Of
Structured
Mamelon? Oh, don't
weapons.
worry. I know about that part.
Or just,
Yeah.
stop with the pretense. But it's up to you.
Huston nods warily. Not like you're going to be not let in, but if you're not a mammal, it's unlikely you'll become rich and famous there, we'll say. Wade?
We prize
Oh, one
uniformity.
One thing we could do there is I could just behave as a pack animal again, since I'm sure they don't mind that, since it's service, and Alex can turn into a mammal, right? Another pack
Kinda.
animal. Then we'll blend in.
Not
Suppose so.
interested.
I'm sorry for it.
Crim shrinks.
I'm sure we'll manage. We'll figure it out when we get there. How about that?
Oh, so damn it, Town. Now I gotta keep fucking performing.
I warned you. Okay.
You want to be the party face, Bugle, so what better opportunity than a place where you're going to be one of the two most respected characters by default?
I wonder if they have a hierarchy. Like, if you're fluffy, do you count a little better than if you're
Yeah.
scaly? Is it like a hierarchy of acceptable?
Well, scalies are not
Kingdoms.
mammals.
No, I know.
Pangolins beg to disagree.
Like we've got the mammals at the top. Like if you got feathers, are you like one rung below? And if you got scales, are you another rung below? And then if you're wet and slimy, are you like
Yeah.
at the very bottom?
You're like a whale. It's like, okay, I
Oh, those poor
guess.
mule.
I know at my desk there's still 3 forms back there I need to sign to fill my term for the rest of the year. Procrastinating on that.
We're like someone to lead an investigation check to get true, accurate news and good maps of this area in Valandria.
I think that
If
might
nobody
be
else
Nemus.
does, Crim can, because he can gather info from like through rumors and stuff, just listening in. Because people, even though he was part of the party, there's a chance that some people overlook that and will just speak openly about things. Who knows? As he listens in, sometimes if some people recognize him by eye, he'll ask, gather info, see some maps, do some reading, investigation. Decent. 17.
That's a pretty good one.
Okay. You catch one rumor that some guy named Benaro, who was down on his luck, some kind of ex-gladiator guy, left town, headed southwest a few weeks ago. Probably still living out there. Might be low on supplies, might be desperate. Be careful. But beyond that, you do find a good map to the woods and a guide, someone who spends a lot of time out in the wilds. The woods are a lot less dense, fresher, newer forest, easier to traverse to get to that road along the southwest than to take the northeast route.
That's thicker forest then. Okay.
Yeah. Though the rivers wouldn't be a problem. Those always have nice crossings.
Alright. Crim will return with that info, essentially, and then summarize. So it sounds like while the rivers aren't much of a problem, the actual forest is pretty dense. He glances at Cashmere. Don't think we want that. So if we want thinner forest and then easy roads, at least assuming we don't run into anyone crazy, we take the southern route.
Works for me. Good man.
I like that idea. Good idea.
This makes Crim happy.
Okay, so you set out the next day to the west?
One more thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
One more thing. So, before they leave, Cashmere will break off for a small bit and go and find Garrick. What is he up to at the very moment? Like,
He's trying to make himself scarce, but you'd be able to track him down to a small mom and pop type of restaurant where he's nursing a very tall mug of something frothy. Seems taciturn. Looks up at you.
yeah, Cashmere busts in through the door because I'm assuming he's inside, right?
Yeah.
And he gets his attention. Hey, Garrick.
Hello, friend. Welcome.
I forgive you.
Oh, yeah.
And gives the double thumbs up and then runs off.
I'd give inspiration if I had it.
You catch an expression that is growing into something that might be genuine and thick appreciation, but you are gone before he can even reply.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's all.
Cash, all right.
Okay. And the day goes on until Valandria is a small little windy city on the river behind you, now obscured by trees. Split away from the route you were taking along the riverside, tracking Garrick, and more onto some paths thick enough for a few wagons, where every now and then there's a rise or a thinning of the trees. You can see the lovely waters of the Twin Lake, sparkling clean in the sunlight, and that large island as well, known as Home Island, which is sparsely populated.
On the chance that it'll be needed after they do their rest, I think I'll make sure I have the water walk spell prepared.
Okay. It's a beautiful spring, clear day. There's bees buzzing. There's pollen in the air. Maybe some of you are sneezing and scratching at your eyes, or maybe there's a cantrip called Stowaway Allergy. I don't know.
Wow.
It's yeah. Sorry.
Level 2 spell, allergy medicine.
You can collect chytrids from the lake.
What's a chytrid?
It's a type of fungus that feeds on pollen grains.
Oh, cool.
They have little mobile spores.
Nice. That is cool, actually. And as before, days of peace fall away, filled with quiet conversation, beautiful landscapes, Huston's never failing positive attitude, and a chance encounter.
Yeah, roll an encounter board, Tal.
Give me 1 sec. Roleplay amongst yourselves.
Yeah, we fight 3 wolves.
Who'll cash bother this time?
Oh yeah, I guess I've been ritual casting purify food and drink periodically to make sure those eggs we got earlier stay fresh.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Crim seems very deep in thought until eventually he says, I don't know how good I am at giving away secrets. I feel like if you just stare at me long enough, he glances at Cash, I'll just give them away anyway. I'm gonna have to really think. If I ever get a power and have to get rid of it. Oh, but it might be embarrassing. Like that time no, I can't say it out loud, though.
Oh, you can't say it yet.
You will.
Ernest,
Probably,
I don't want it to
eventually.
goes away.
Just
Ernest,
keep
this
it
is valuable.
keep it to your chest for now, and then when we need it, we'll interrogate you next.
Yeah, your heart's always open, Crim. I'm sure the power want to leave you as soon as you take it.
No. Crim nervously looks at at his chest, which has his little message board. Maybe I can write a secret one down.
If you wish.
Well,
It'll be kind of difficult.
just keep it in your head. I'm sure we'll be able to remember it quite well now.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
it's gonna be kind of difficult for me, though. I don't have a whole lot of secrets.
On contraire, I like the opposite. You've always been, well, less so nowadays, but you've always been the part-timer.
Crim kind of whispers to Wade, do you have more?
Well, no, I was referring to...
Oh, I see.
You are the one who's always slipping off.
Well, secrets that matter, I guess.
Would it be a secret
don't-
if it didn't matter?
I don't think it would help me lose the power, is what I'm trying to say. That's just me, though. Maybe I'm wrong. But, honestly, I don't have any secrets. Or at least none you need to know of.
That's solid.
Well, I was going to say that you must be boring, but then, well, you gave the caveat.
Those are good ones.
It's a good caveat.
Yeah,
Keep it in mind.
One that defeats the entire purpose of what you said.
I know. But it's still there.
Once we get into town, I can give you all a tour of some of the best locations. Good restaurants. It'll be nice.
They're not going to spit in our food, are they?
As long as we keep to ourselves. Oh no, it has a certain charm to it, the place. Just... Of course it's best when it's all you've ever known, but I still think there's some value in it.
Probably gonna smell a lot.
Another thing you get used to.
And days fall away. You've got plenty of time to talk, prepare spells, enjoy your trail, food and drink, maybe count the coins you've made so far. maybe this is the best job you've ever had, especially if you enjoy traveling through beautiful woodlands in the middle of spring. At least when you don't run into zombies and monsters and the like.
Well, hopefully a little bit less force soon. Just to
That
get a
frozen
change of
noodle
pace.
behind.
One morning, when the trees are thinning, and you know, according to the map, that you're going to hit one of these main roads, like capital M, capital R, that go through this continent, where things are very safe and swift, and you can, there's stables along the way and research, all that stuff. You're almost there when you see next to a copse of trees in a clearing a strange sight. Roll for nothing. I'm just changing songs.
Roll a performance check.
2 adolescents. A pair of corvids. One is a green magpie, and another is a scrubjay, species of birds. The former is kind of a lime color, and the latter is this lovely blue and white. The blue scrubjay is wearing a strange apparatus. It looks like it's a heavy mechanical pack in place of a backpack that's strapped to her back with all these flexible rods emerging from it like a spider's limbs. And they're strapped to her legs, her wing arms, her tail, her head. And she's like power walking around in a circle over and over again in this clearing, practically making her own path with how much she's trampling the grass. The green magpie is sitting in the middle of said circle. Her beak's open, she's breathing hard, just kind of arm on knee, looking at nothing. So she's recovering, resting. She's wearing a simple shirt and skirt, short sword scabbard on one hip. There's a tent nearby with a pack peeking out of it, half open, things strewn about. Turner, you recognize the cultural style of their clothing. And in fact, you think you recognize these two. They were no-names both. The last time you saw them, not many years ago.
They're just like a bit of like a... Definitely some shock and maybe not quite dread, but just a bit of like he wasn't really looking for a reunion here, and he's just kind of like he'll kind of like maybe take to the air a little bit to see if there's any sign of wagons nearby.
Roll a perception check as you gain altitude.
He's just kind of like pushing his glasses in to try to get a better view.
Oh, where's Turner going? Guess for a morning flight?
I think that's a 16. I got a 15 on the die. My wisdom is +1, so 16.
There is a lot of landscape to scan here, but with a 16 you fancy, maybe there is some dust clouds through the fog of distance, maybe on the main road traveling north. Real far away though.
There's a little bit of a relief there, but he does eventually end up descending.
What'd you see?
I think my people, my former people, whatever, they're not too far from here. Not sure if they're going in the same direction as us or if they're about to convene with us.
Those birds were from the Brouhaha?
Is that bad? I think they're fine, right?
Well, they're fine. It's just been a while.
Are you ready to have a reunion?
On my terms, perhaps, but...
In my experience, it comes up to you whether you like it or not.
I mean, we could always just drive right on past, act like we don't see them.
No, it's fine. I don't have, no disrespect, Wade. I don't have any bodies that I buried that I have to worry about.
At this point, Huston has called the command to stop, and there's a couple of feral crows who are now circling you, having tried to join you in the sky, Turner, but now that you're back down. They're still circling, and those two seem to have caught wind of you as well. And the one on the ground says, "Hello, you're welcome to join if you wish. Don't mind her. She's just doing her thing."
It seems tiring.
Eternal
And
kind of. Good.
The girl in the pack responds without stopping. "Yeah, it is kind of tiring, but we've got to charge up the pack. That's why it's called the dynamic pack. It's not called the lazy pack. Gotta keep going, gotta keep going." She keeps saying that as she walks.
Has she gotten her name yet?
"Yeah, I recognize you. Do you want to come over? You look like you could use a break, maybe?"
Kind of looks back to the others.
Like just thumbs up.
Can we trust these weirdos?
You don't have anything to worry about.
Fine by me then. And he walks right on over.
Yeah, way to follow.
Okay. Yeah, she stands up, swallows, clears her throat. She's got her eyelids kind of naturally in a sag, and her movements are slow. "I'm Piper. Nice to meet you. This is Dynamo. Don't try and get her to stop. She's not going to." But Dynamo waves anyway, and you hear the grinding of something metallic inside, as well as something maybe sparking within. "What brings you through this random patch of woods, I guess?"
Yeah.
Traveling to
Well-
Mamelon. I was either circling around the lake or going through more forest, but I think I've seen my fill for a life.
Would you guys introduce yourselves, or not really?
Yeah. Crossing. Wait, crossing?
Cashmere.
Crim will glance at Turner to if he has the okay, or if he's playing service animal right now. That's his goal.
Introduce yourself too, Crim.
Oh, okay. Hi. I'm Crim, Awakened Dragon. Hello.
Should have seen
Whoa! They both scramble over that person breaking for the power walking to start power walking around you, looking as if they're trying to find some device on top of you.
Yeah, they would just default to there's a device that does this.
Usually the energy is used so you don't have to walk. Experience.
"Well, this," says Dino, still walking in circles, the voice fading in and getting louder as they go around Crim, pats the pack. "This is how I got my name in the brouhaha. When I wasn't going to settle for working with miners or mills or whatever. I got big plans for this baby. It's called the Dynamic Pack. It fits all sorts of types of power. Right now I'm working on trying to use magnetism to convert mechanical energy into other forms. It'll store the energy too, but it loses it with some too much inefficiency actually over time. But it's a pretty cool thing. I gotta make it better. I've gotta make it more marketable. She just keeps chattering on.
Yeah. I'd recommend buying a mule.
Crim seems entranced.
Cashmere leans over to Turner and asks, "Are all Corvids nerds?"
He just kind of looks a bit off guard by that. Well, in the brouhaha, yes.
Noted.
Out in
They
the rest
both
of the
laugh
world,
at
maybe
you,
not
joke,
as
Wade.
much.
She would get up, grab some bread, some strange spices. I can make you guys a snack if you'd like. I'd love to hear why you're traveling and stuff. We're taking a break from the caravans, so we'd love to not be bored out of our minds taking turns walking in circles, wouldn't we, Dynamo? Oh yeah, we sure would. Tell us.
Where are first up? Sorry, where are they? Where are the caravans currently? Where are you guys headed?
Piper says, the green magpie. I don't know. We don't really care about leadership and what the Pathfinder thinks is the best route. We've been south for a while. I think we're heading north to the Karifi lands. I don't know. It's just boring. Don't really care. We could do our own things now. We've got our names, we don't have to stick with them, do we?
Turn actually just kind of like smile at that. Yeah, don't always have to. Sometimes you gotta find your own path.
Now that I think about it, wouldn't it be more efficient to just charge it by going to wherever you're going?
How so? How so? What do you mean? Tell me your hypothesis.
Well, if all you have to do to charge it is walk, wouldn't that work just as easily walking along the road instead of going in circles?
Yeah, but for that you have to have a place you want to go. I don't really want to go anywhere. I've got everything I need right here with Piper and my pack and my little tinkering tools and stuff over there and that really nice ham. Really, really tasty. You guys really should try it. So, I mean, if I'm going in a straight line or if I'm going in a circle, it's the same amount of energy, is it not?
Yeah, that was my original point. But okay.
And what is this power used for? What exactly are you charging? What sort of mechanism would this pack power?
I like the way you think, Mr. Alex. What is it going to power? Well, it can power all sorts of things, you see. She suddenly stops herself. Well, it could power all sorts of things. You could transmit into various forms that different industries might find useful. Maybe it could find a way to generate sonic... Well, I know it can generate sonic energy, vibrations. Maybe someone would find a use for that. Or we could reverse it, change how it goes inside, and now instead of you moving these little limbs, now they're moving you. Maybe that makes it easier to walk. I don't know. These are just thoughts I have.
That sounds
Hard to guess.
self-sustaining.
If I were to guess, the sort that want to buy are the folks who want energy to rip a man in half.
Gosh, well, I would avoid those types of people, wouldn't I, Piper? Yes, she would. We are not going to get tangled up in that. They seem to be having like a silent conversation. Maybe it's just an amount of friendship or whatever that they can kind of communicate like this, or maybe there's something magical or technological, but they're just like looking at each other and making expressions.
Their players are crossing their fingers.
They're memeing on you guys.
Insight? Yeah, insight.
Oh, okay.
I'll do insight.
I will as well. 6. Wisdom's not my dump stat, but it's not my best either.
24.
24. Okay. You think that they really are skilled in nonverbal communication, and they've probably known each other a very long time. They seem fast friends, or more. And you, 24, you think Piper, the magpie, who moves more slowly, is sort of trying to say, no, slow down. And Dynamo, the scrub jay, is like, no, we should do something. I want to do this. Are you sure?
The walker and the guider.
I'll have Cashmere speak up. Oh, is there something you wanted to tell us? I'm all ears.
Careful.
He groans after he says it.
Yeah, for once
Well,
it's not me.
You know, I'm glad you grown before we could.
I don't like saying it.
Piper's like, no. Dynamo's like, come on, Piper, we have to. Okay, I think we should take the gamble, Piper. They're capable from what little they've said, and coming from the east, after all, where we heard there was that weird stuff going on, and let's be honest with each other, we've made little progress on our own. After all, Nir's with them, and he'd surely agree with the principle. Wouldn't you, Nir?
I suppose. What trouble are you in?
Do we need to fight something?
Dynamo finally stops walking. She doesn't even seem that out of breath. She looks over you, looks at Huston, who's just bemused. Looks left, looks right. Piper, in the meantime, is like pulled out this gauge, like looking at it, also scanning, obviously making sure you guys are alone. And then Dynamo says, "Have you ever heard of resonance?"
Oh no. Or
History
yes.
check.
Yeah.
Marital history.
This is absolutely something Crim would have, if he happened to find it, he would have remembered it. So let's see.
Unnatural
All right, that's
20.
a decent roll.
Damn it.
I have been beaten by this, but the number I rolled is a 23.
Okay.
Doesn't
That
matter
mark?
what intelligence check it is 23.
You got proficiency for all of them now?
It is so convenient to not have to memorize that anymore.
I got it for 3 of them with expertise in Arcana, but... Or, sorry, 4 of them. I just... Wait, no, I don't have 3 of them, yeah.
I actually did way better than I thought I would. 18.
I should honestly roll 2. Why not?
Why not? That's why we play, right?
It's only 11. Doesn't matter.
I rolled an 11.
Okay. Well, that is not enough Cashmere. Let me double check for the rest of you.
You're coming up to me.
Turn will just say, well, they say that anything is possible with it.
Sorry. Okay.
Fucking awful.
This is beyond my pay grade, apparently.
You know, that's
Looks at
fitting.
It's something to do with the late Miss Breaks, right? God, what did they teach us?
You got a 6, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I don't know anything more than that.
Okay, you who got 18 or higher, those 3, you have heard the term, and the way she's saying that it's obviously a capital R, not some just generic physics or chemistry term. It's not something you hear often, mainly more in like big population centers, like urban talk, where there's a lot of progress in science and labs and stuff. But yeah, you think it has something to do with magic items, but it's not a common concept.
Is that with the highest roll?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact.
Someone who was traveling trader mentioned it to us, but I don't really know anything about it.
I recall
Doesn't seem very useful to me.
I recall reading a bit about it back in university, but didn't delve too deeply into it. It was a bit more of what my old life would have been.
I've read about it as well. Only issue is not too deeply. When I was doing my research to figure out things I could do, one of the problems with it was apparently it's not easy to figure out how you get it. So, kind of a dead end for what I was doing. Kind of time sensitive.
It's all scaled to me.
That makes sense, and I don't think that's how it should be. We all should know what it is. It's kind of like, it's when, we've got a saying in the brouhaha, it's not real unless you can see it or touch it, especially the latter. So, looks at Piper, who nods, and they kind of burst into motion. Dynamo's a lot faster. Piper starts setting up this circular array of like glass pipes with brass joints and this metal machinery. She's like screwing things in, connecting things together. It's almost like a ritual circle, but if it were technological. She's taking things out of her really heavy pack. Dynamo doing the same. Dynamo produces a fork, as if it's a big deal. Like, and she puts it. She asks for a flame. Can you make a?
Yeah, wait snaps, prestos.
Okay. Just great. And takes out some jerky, starts heating it up until the surface of the jerky's positively bubbling like freshly cooked bacon. Puts takes a spoon out as well. No, okay. First, she stabs the jerky with the fork when it's like bubbling hot. And the instant she does that, it stops bubbling, stops being hot. She takes a bite of it, even though it should be scalding. As you can see, it's cooled down the food to perfect eating temperature. It's a magic fork. Very exciting. Not the most exciting thing, but very practical is what I should say.
You won't burn your tongue.
It's quite. Yeah, it's quite decently impressive. Although, I mean, a little bit of arcane magic. Wade snaps again, and he's going. He cools it. He cools the food.
Well, yes, that's great that you can do that, but irrelevant to the demonstration.
Yeah, Crim's eyes kind of bug out in this Patu way, but then he settles in. He's like, "Oh, that's so interesting." With
Turner's just
this resonance.
Turner's gonna kind of just like whisper it away to just let them have their moment. You don't have to always show people up.
I don't know, the resonance hasn't happened yet. Not yet, you'll see. And she puts fork on this, like, concave platform of some type of metal, maybe 6 centimeters across, as well as a spoon that she announces is a totally ordinary spoon. And she puts this disc in the center of this technological ritual circle that Piper has finished setting up. Piper then carefully unwraps a small white parcel of paper, wearing a glove, and plucks out one of a few neon green pellets that she puts in a little door in part of the machinery. Presses some buttons. Dynamo has a notepad at this point. She stands well away. And then, after you're all standing a good distance, she pushes a button on the machinery. This luminescent, pale blue vapor, like a gaseous river, flows out of her chest and onto the fork and spoon on the disc in the center. And at the same time, the pipes which she'd set up that appeared empty begin to glow from within with this neon green gas. It's like it's flowing, but nothing's coming out of the pipes. Again, with a river analogy, like a river in motion, but not actually going anywhere.
I imagine
You
the
with me so
party.
far?
Yeah, I imagine the party probably would have had like just like their eyes widen as they see like a little light coming out of them before realizing it's something different.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
Wow. Yeah, that's good.
And there's this whirring and humming, this energy in the air. Cash and Wade, your fur is kind of standing on end. The rest of you might feel a little itchy. But then it dies down. And Piper approaches you, Wade, with a bit of water in like a little rock pocket, serving as a makeshift bowl. It says, "Do you mind boiling this, please?"
You see, I can warm it.
You know, this
The
sounds,
arcane has some strange limitations.
you know, Turner's gonna take one from Wade's book, and then he will just like, do they say warm it up or heat it up, burn it?
They said boil.
Boil it.
Okay, he'll use like a sorcerer's burst to make a little flame.
Oh, wow. Okay, she's got the glove. She's like holding it as you're lighting it, and it starts boiling. And then, what's her name? Dynamo approaches, having grabbed the spoon now from that little disc in the center of the machinery, and scoops that boiling water off the rock. And it stops boiling immediately. And again, she sips it. That was synthesis. The fork now does nothing. We have transferred the magic from the fork to the spoon. Got a magic club when you'd rather have a magic quarterstaff? Synthesize it. It's one of the many Eidos processes we understand that manipulate resonance. And she takes a bow.
Oh, Wade politely claps.
Crim is enraptured. He's like sniffing the fork like it would mean something. He's like, he's speechless at this point. He may as well be a feral dragon as he's looking at all this.
And you could just you could just do this just anytime you wanted. I assume something like this would require a bit more
downtime.
At least the little bit of notes that I've seen wasn't there like a lot more equipment?
Yeah. And that's part of why this pack is so helpful. It does require a lot of energy, and it requires other things. I can explain more. That was a low resonance cost process, which is why we're able to do it with this portable stuff we have right here. And Piper says, it shouldn't be like that. You have to go to other places to do more potent things.
So,
Then the process is sensitive to where you do it?
You need more equipment. You need more power to
I see.
power the processes that deal with more weighty magic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, that seems to be where your ambitions come in.
I don't get it.
fair.
Well, here
Hey,
you
purpose-
saw it transfer a simple enchantment from a fork to a spoon, but if you're able to do it on a larger scale, you could do all kinds of things with it.
Turner's like kind of like holding the staff that I believe Alex had given to him. So like we could potentially transfer the magic from this staff to. He was kind of like hold out his hat.
That would be a challenging transference or synthesis. But yeah, I think it could be done. With enough resonance, anything's possible.
There it is.
Even transferring it from people to people, like a magical effect, you could take it from one person, put it to another.
They look at each other. Piper says, maybe. Or location to location?
I think this.
Plane to plane? I'm not sure.
I think
We're very
Wade,
much in our infancy with this.
I think Wade would be something more permanent than just a simple magical effect, unless if you've been bestowed with some sort of a curse or a boon, perhaps. But
Yeah, God's forbid.
Yeah, it'd probably be something that I can eat. Or something that I
And-
can't eat, you know?
And you charge the power to make these magical items by walking.
No, that is to power my pack, which helps power the machinery. It actually has nothing to do intrinsically with resonance. But in order to power the Eidos processes that manipulate resonance, you need a lot of power.
Let's see.
This
That little maneuver
sounds.
just cost me probably 2 hours of walking. But no problem.
if you just left it on like the wheel of the caravan.
What were you going to say, Snap?
This sounds dangerous. Maybe I just don't get it, but
With a 20 or higher, would those they know that the former heroes may have used some of this, or no?
No.
Okay, then I won't refer to that.
Cashmere knows nothing. So.
That, what you said, Cashmere, sort of irritates, you can tell, Dynamo somehow. And she looks like she's about to go on a little tirade, but Piper does this. Dynamo shuts up. Yes, it is dangerous, but it's also helpful. Isn't that every technology?
Or every magic.
Person making it. Do you need to attune to this bowl?
To this pool, you said?
To this bowl?
The spoon.
The spoon. This one, no.
So why are you asking us about this? Out of curiosity, was there something you needed help with?
That's that logical mind they breed into us in the brouhaha, isn't it, Near? All right,
Yes.
Dynamo. You're asking the right questions. Listen up. Ready for some more exposition? Resonance has
Grim
always
stands attentive.
Resonance has always been around. I think it was beginning to be understood in the Scindian era, but the scatter happened. You may not know this, it's not common knowledge, but the Song of Bos uncovered, apparently, this chamber in this dorm basement in Karifi that was converted into a lab, where they were working on manipulating resonance. They used a set of processes and procedures we now call the IDOS process. And, mind you, this is all secondhand. I overheard this from my father. There was a deal made after the war by Nikki Breaks of the Song of Boasts. All that tech went to the keepers of Karifi, and then the seekers, whose domain was magic items and such. And the process began to be disseminated. Then, some rich and powerful people swept through these budding research centers and bought them out, wiped them out. The PR justification is that the process is a danger to society, stares at you intently, Cashmere. People can't have these empowering magic items. It's too dangerous. For people to have power over, the equipment they have that helps them in their daily life, we can't have that. And then someone in the government working on it a few years ago leaked all the info to some folks in the brouhaha because they thought the tech shouldn't be government only. Power to everyone. Awesome, right? But it's still unavailable in 99% of boasts. The processes do need a lot of power to run. You need the funding, the infrastructure. You can really only find a few labs doing it in a few places. Big cities. Naverby, Karifi. You gotta be a celebrity or a VIP or a wealthy donor, if you're even in the know.
Do you know if they've been, if they're looking into any of the universities?
I should think so, yeah. That's totally where they'd find out more about these processes. I want to put the power of resonance in everyone's hands, and I think I can use my dynamic pack to do it. It'll make the world better. But I need someone's help. Your help would be great, and that's why I'm telling you this. I want your help.
How can we help? But what can we do? We're kind of just selling silk, really. Also, do you want silk?
Piper's like, yeah. I would like a little bit to experiment with some of the mechanics. Wire wrapping? Sure.
I can tell you about the properties later.
Austin leans in and gives you a big thumbs up.
Crim's a good boy.
He laughs, but he makes it obvious. Anyway, Dino explains that the IDOS processes use exusia, a rare and valuable material that is distributed as pellets. You just saw that green stuff that was carefully wrapped. Gets into the nitty-gritty of how it works, it can be slowly heated. It's an exothermic process that releases gas, but it can also transmit power, like electricity in a wire. And she says, I want to get some more of that stuff. Experiment with it so that I can work on developing the IDOS process with little to no exusia. That'll make it more accessible. That's the biggest barrier, I think. My dynamic pack can hopefully fill in the gaps. You can find it most easily from one of these actual official labs where they have it. It's pretty rare. But somehow, if you could get some of that to us on the down low, I don't care if it's purchased or if it's nicked on a tour somehow, if it goes missing from a shipment. It's for a good cause.
What exactly is she asking for us to get?
Exusia. That pill that she was holding? That little capsule that was placed into the machine to do the stuff? That they need that catalyzer, which the labs have, in order to have her study more on how to use it with less. To study its properties and its effects. And right now, the only place, because someone who is supposedly rich and famous and all that has a effective monopoly or oligarchy on it, they can't get their hands on it, and they don't really have the power or means to do so. Meanwhile, we look big, strong, and crafty. Maybe we can. And also, you're here, so you have we got the street cred with the brouhaha.
Good summary.
Where does exusia come from?
Mines, I guess. Maybe they do a little arcane processing. It's so rare and weird that we don't even know that much about it. I mean, back in Cynthia, the height of all that, they sure knew.
Does anyone else back in the caravans know about this? Is this something you're keeping from them as well?
Piper looks down and Dynamo says, my dad, Pollen Cullen, is one of the most involved people. I feel he's too pessimistic about what this would do to the world. He thinks I'm too naive. We don't speak much anymore. I don't want them to be involved.
I hope. Forgive me for picking at words. I hope you know what sort of world you're asking. A war fought with swords or spears and swords is enough to destroy a territory. A war fought with bursts of fireballs. Wipe it off the face of the earth.
Maybe, but it could also do a lot of good.
But you just need to know there will be a day when it is not your choice to make how people use this. I showed such vehemence when I suggested it being used to tear men in half. Someday it will if you do this.
I'd imagine if the song had used this, they probably did a lot of that.
One of them probably wanted to all the time.
That's incidental.
Yeah. We've talked about this. I'm sure you would get along great with my dad. It can be used for ill, but I don't know, maybe it could be limited. I mean, it's not like these processes let you make magic items out of nothing. They let you do other things with them and enhance things. So that can't be that bad, right?
I don't know that they should necessarily be freely available to everyone, but they should certainly be more widely available than what you've described.
Yes, can you explain how limited it is right now? Who owns it? Just super rich people in labs and places?
Yeah. Piper says, my understanding is that it did get out all across Bose for a little while. So when it got sort of sequestered and suppressed and bought out, whatever happened in those mysterious shadow dealings, it wasn't all from... I mean, it couldn't have all been a single organization or person unless they were very powerful. But, you can't keep that sort of thing eradicated from places like I said, Karifi, Naverby. Maybe they got something on Ilio. I don't know too much about that place. Mamelon, pretty traditional. Maybe Tornor, big cities. And, yeah, universities. They might have some private labs that are being funded from big people in big cities.
Theoretically, there should still be some pockets of it left over from when it was more widely available, right?
That's what we think.
Well,
See.
if we ever make our way back up very far north, something I could maybe look into a bit. But that would be for probably months.
I'm willing to help. I just want to know, how will we find you? As you can expect, we travel a lot.
Oh, yeah. You went up to the Ogman Observatory, was it?
Ogma
How'd that go?
Observatory, yes. Well, he kind of like gestures to his outfit. Well, they gave me alumni robes to wear.
Oh. Cool. Remind me, I gotta ask you something before you guys go. But Wade, before how to get in contact with us.
I have sending if it helps, but I mean just for physically being in your location.
Do you tend to stay close to the caravans? I can have maybe if I really think about it, I could perhaps have a vague idea of where they might be, but well, it's been years since I've traveled, and we're not exactly regular.
We're not sure. It's Piper. Maybe I'm sure go back there some point. Maybe we'll just travel, get side jobs, work on this in the evenings. I don't know. Where are you guys going?
Well, we're heading to Mamelon right now. If we come across the case where we have some to give you, I could give you a sending and we could organize some meetup spot.
I don't think I know what sending is, but it sounds like you've got it figured out.
It's a type of super far away, send a message to someone you know kind of thing. It's kind of limited, but
I'll cast message on her and say, it'll be kind of like this, but from farther away.
That she understands and nods. Wow, that's pretty powerful magic you guys got. Cool.
Do it twice a day, it sucks.
Just level up more, bro. Okay.
wow.
Yeah. Well,
Says Rishi doesn't
good
even know a
luck.
level 3 spell.
Haven't heard anything weird in Mamelon, but there's weird things happening all over, I guess. We've had our beaks to the grindstone, not paying too much attention.
Has anything that I might have missed in the last few years with the others?
Oh, the brew? No. We're over that place. Same old, same old.
He kind of nods.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you'd enjoy catching up. I don't know. You didn't seem to have the best time, if you'll forgive me saying that.
Well, at least I'm not alone in that.
Did you introduce yourself as Turner?
No.
Okay. Okay, yeah, they just like awkwardly let that float there then.
Well, in any case, I appreciate your trust in us in this. I hope this makes the world a better place.
I suppose I should clarify one thing. I actually do go by Turner now. It's not official, but at least as far as they're concerned.
They both like, oh, this is like very exciting to them. Dynamo even starts clapping, and Piper says, "Oh, well, what do you turn?"
He's just kind of like fiddling with. It's probably like habit at this point, but it's kind of like fitting now that he's maybe just kind of like fiddling with the watch. It's not really. It doesn't really represent what yours might. Some friends in the universities gave it to me.
Okay. One of the names that's a bit more, you gotta dig a little bit to understand it. I like that. Well, congratulations, Turner.
And you as well.
Thanks.
Thanks for your faith in us.
And they look like they want to talk to you a little bit more, but we should probably take a break at this point, huh?
Break will be good.
Break time.
Break time!
Break time.
Okay.
Here we
This is how we got all that residence by walking.
Yep, so that's a crit on Crim for...
No, not again.
And then he died.
Wait, no, it's Cash who dies.
Oh yeah.
No, if you want, it's not the damage that gets you, it's the crippling status conditions for a melee fighter. Like, make him, like, grappled, entangled, prone, make the enemy 50 feet away.
He's stunned.
So what's the point of this resonance anyway? Well, to inflict crippling status conditions on your enemies. Okay. Any questions about all this stuff? They'd be happy to verify, explain.
Yeah.
And after session, I will explain mechanically what is happening too.
So, did they give us any particular direction on where to look for resonance, or is it just vaguely labs in established cities?
The latter. She'd even tongue-in-cheek say to think of it as a side quest, maybe, for your silk trade.
Understood.
So it's like saying we need stem cells.
Not touching
If you
that
ever
one.
happen upon stem cells in your travel, keep it in your inventory. Don't sell it to the vendor.
Actually, I think Alex has plenty of those.
Oh yeah.
That's how wild shape works, right? Those pluripotent stem cells.
Well,
Oh man.
Sounds like we're good. Or what were you gonna say, Snap?
I'll say it after we walk off.
Was it
Okay.
relevant to the conversation, or?
No. Kind of.
Well, Piper says, we've said our piece. It's not exactly a secret. It's not exactly something that is in the open as it should be. If you want to debate the ethics of it, I can see some of you guys have your hesitations. We could talk about it. But in our experience with the people we've told, everyone has their own philosophy on these things. How much power should the government have and the people who've earned their wealth and repute? And how much power should people like us have?
We know a few things about the dangers of power. And I appreciate your openness on this, your candidness.
Welcome.
I can certainly tell you that we have definitely come to learn that great power in the hands of those not ready or responsible to wield it, it has some damning consequences.
But power in those who want to help can do a lot.
Crim thinks about Devron and like what would his opinion be on this, considering he was like, give this power to me, no one else knows how to handle it, and he's thinking, huh. But he doesn't remark anything about that out loud.
And it's just injecting resonance into his veins.
Yeah, interesting.
Alright, well, appreciate it. Shall we hit the road?
Sure, yeah. By the way, watch out for sand swants dealing with some sort of time jitters. Parts of town get jittery, frozen, and fast and frozen. I don't know. I didn't get it when I overheard it.
What's the terrain like beneath? What's the terrain like right now?
It's quite flat. It's just small woodland.
Alright.
Okay, Crim heaves a long sigh that actually kicks up some wood debris.
Okay.
Which way is it?
Yeah.
It's-
I think it's either Crim or Cashmere's turn now.
It's he just kind of gives like a big glare at Wade, but then he just says it is it is quite north of Mamelon. North up
Okay.
the very edge of the northernmost point of the bay.
Dynamo says, you're probably misremembering. They're talking about trade when they came by. It's always up and down with maritime commerce. The booms and the lulls with the weather in spring. Karifi's their trade partner. They didn't mean time literally. Piper shrugs.
Well, since you listen on something, I won't get too detailed, but remember what I just said about people stumbling into powers that they are not ready for? It might be more literal than you thought.
Oh. Well, speaking of that, the only other exciting thing I've heard... God, we're really desperate to talk to people, aren't we, Piper? Someone in the lower family of Naverby is upending things with some fantastical magic. Big changes over there, supposedly. Although, maybe it isn't magic, whatever Turner's alluding to.
We enjoy being mysterious. But, good
Sounds
day.
like there might be something happening all over after all. We thought it was just isolated at first, then we're told it's not quite isolated, and now we've got 2 new leads to follow.
Well, let's go sell our silk.
Yeah.
Well, you know, every time we save a place, we tend to get some gratitude in the way of silk, so maybe this will work out.
Well, you need to charge up your pack. why don't we talk on the road, unless your path is taking you south or any other direction.
We don't have any particular path right now, no, but we're kind of tired. I mean, if you're going to go today or tomorrow, no. If you were going to wait a few days before going on, yeah, maybe we could join you. We don't really have a destination in mind. But we wouldn't want to hold you up. We're just, we've been on the road with the Brouhaha for ever, and we just are now taking a break from them as of yesterday, so...
I just remember telling you, or rather, I was just remembering that you said that they had something that they wanted to talk about, so I was just trying to I figured that'd be like a good segue for that, but I don't know.
Was there something they went? Yeah, I thought they just went over that, but...
Tell us that before break.
Oh.
They would say Turner, though. Piper says, "Oh, before you go, Turner, a cheetah and a bat were looking for you. Together? I guess you already got that sorted, huh?" She looks at Wade.
No. Wait, where were they?
Oh, they were asking around the house wagons. I wasn't really paying attention. I think... And Dynamo cuts in. Yes, they said they needed your help. It didn't seem urgent, but it didn't seem like nothing to him either. The cheetah, that is.
Are they?
That was like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Were they with the caravans?
Yeah, they swung by. They were looking for you.
Do you know where they would have went?
They said to find them at the university starting in a few moons. They said something about a semester, a term, or something booky that I didn't get.
Oh. Okay. Yeah,
Crim
they were...
tilts his head.
He kind of looks to the others. They're the friends I had just mentioned, the ones who gave the name.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry I wasn't paying too much attention, but good luck with that. Gives you a talon thumb up.
I didn't know you had 2 cheetah friends.
Well, what do you mean? I only have one.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Piper shakes her head at you.
I'm kidding, Wade.
All friends here, says Huston.
Alright, well, shall we?
Well,
Good luck with your traveling.
Surprising, it was
Thanks.
nice catching up with someone back from the wagons.
Yeah, it was nice to see you guys too. Feel like it's really ground into us. Well, sorry, I'm really hating on the Brouhaha. They're cool, they're great, they teach good things. They could just be a little much sometimes, so it's good to stay in one spot, be largely alone for a little while, catch a breath, you know?
All too well. Best of luck with your endeavors.
See ya.
Yeah, and we walk off, and then we both walk off in the same direction, so we gotta keep talking.
Okay.
Well,
But so as they walk off, this is what I meant. Once they're out of earshot, Cashmere, who has not said a whole lot after a bit, looks visibly nervous, kind of antsy. He's fidgeting, he's messing around with the spear on his hip a lot, and he just kind of blurts out after a little bit, "Hey, so we don't have to follow every lead we get, right?"
Of course not.
Was your long lost mother made out of resonance?
Well, no. I mean, we don't need to bother with that either. I mean, right?
Is there something wrong about one of the places?
No. I'm just saying, we don't have to follow every lead we get. It's probably even nothing. What they mentioned.
Well, I wasn't imagining we were gonna go out of our way for this. just, if we happen to be in a place that might know something, I'll admit my curiosity was piqued.
Crim squints at Cash. I thought you said you didn't have secrets.
I don't.
No, he said he doesn't have any secrets that we need to know.
Turner's right. You should listen to Turner.
Well, I don't want to make you uncomfortable with this.
Both Crim's eyes and pupils narrow.
Weston says quietly, if the leads we don't need to follow are in a major city, well, might be good to know ahead of time, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a good approach to take with this.
And I understand that.
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you if it's relevant. How's that sound?
Okay.
Right. Love
Well,
that. Thank you.
It might be irrelevant when we get to such a place. So if there's a reason why you think why we shouldn't look into this, might be good to let us know before that happens.
I'm willing to bet it can't be worse than what I confessed at a pertinent location.
That is pretty hard to beat.
Yeah.
War crimes are a higher echelon.
Well, listen, I just don't want to talk about it right now, okay? Can we move on?
All right.
Thanks. Great.
Yeah. Right, let's look at the map then. Yeah, here we are.
I'm the map. I'm the map.
Oh, we're in the region now. Trell. I'm in the Trell section. One sec. Oh, how
Yay.
exciting.
Yeah.
We're world travelers.
Despite all turn, you still think me a friend.
So, Trell. And Turner, you would have seen a lot of this already, but as the day goes on and you emerge into this area, you can see the Middle Hills, which are... They look like they look on the map. You can see those. But there's a lot of clouds that kind of come over the eastern edge of the Middle Hills and give this
Clouds?
region a lot of rain. So your druid crafting abilities, Alex, would definitely suggest there's going to be some harsh rains a lot of the days that you're walking here. But fortunately, this main road is, I was going to say 6 men wide. What's a cool medieval sounding measurement? 40 hands wide, and there's little stone, like foot tall barriers on either side of it. It's paved with stones, and like all the way up and all the way down. At some point, even if it's very far in the distance, you will always see a wagon or someone riding a mount. It's a well-traveled road. You'll see deer, you'll see boars, porcupines waddling across every now and then, feral cats. People tend to greet each other on the road, just curt but polite. Sometimes people will encamp together off on the side, exchanging news or goods. But it's a part of the world now that you're out of Masozu and the forest that is, more civilized. There's more manners. There's more people, too.
It's more orderful. Wait, I'll throw on his tarp and then offer to warm up any clothes of everyone as they're walking.
But you're offering them clothes? What?
Well, I'm not offer to warm up like with Presto, just like if you're miserable in the rain, just
Warm their clothes, I see.
It's very... Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. That is definitely welcomed by many.
Alright.
Okay. Anything else you guys wish to discuss, especially in regards to Piper and Dynamo's proposal?
Wage theory, crafting, cool magic stuff.
Well, each new place sales-wise, each new place we go to, we can sell more silk. And we just gotta...
Super sick.
And it's kind of, at this point, since it's just been following us, we may as well just answer that call. And if there's anything that sounds time-related, we may as well investigate, because we're going to run into a few things there. For one, time. And for two, probably Devron again, to maybe pick out a few more ideas of what he's doing. Get the feeling that's going to be something to expect to find. but it's just a matter of seeing what our actual current known spots are and how far that is.
Fair. Okay. And a brief out-of-character note here that some parts of the campaign, such as right now, will entail a lot of travel, probably without too much occurrence of substance that is worth talking about. I might have specific scenes in mind, but I don't want to just talk at you for half an hour like this is some travel story. Oh, and this is the climate here, and this is the type of people we find here, but there's
If you
not
look
really...
to the left, you'll see these two gazelles.
Yeah, so Tal's not my last adventure lead DM.
It's not Hexcrawl. But I also don't want to just be like, okay, and then 37 days travel and you arrive at plot here. So I kind of want to strike a balance. So let me know how it feels. Let me know if it's too fast or too slow.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
So anyway, you arrive at Mamelon and there's combat. Sorry, go ahead.
We go from level 1 to level 20 in like a week. It's one of those campaigns.
Just gotta travel the world to get experience.
Well,
It's
that is
easy.
certainly not the case in a Tal campaign because travel is always going to be a thing.
Yeah, I do like travel. You cross a nice bridge that crosses the river that goes to Twin Lake. It is very exciting.
You see, guys, I finally earned my name. Huh?
Wow.
You'll get it?
Terrible.
I don't get it.
We're
Crossing.
wading through the Oh.
Oh, hey. Okay.
Well, you're gonna have to start wading through that water now.
Yeah, I'm waiting through the crossing.
I wonder if that was the same bridge or if those one Scythian just swam across it. And then Glenn decided to follow him for some reason.
Oh.
I don't remember.
Some wet, if otherwise very pleasant spring days pass. You pass many vineyards, many fields where grapes are growing. Some nice looking buildings where they are selling wine. Austin buys some wine. He likes wine.
Yay.
Yay.
Everyone likes a little wine.
And then you arrive at
2
Mamelon.
cups of vodka.
Mamelon time, everyone! So, do I have Mamelon music?
Do you?
Oh no, do you?
Here we go.
I don't know, do you?
No, I do not.
How would
But if I were to
know?
pick something off my head, I would pick probably Gerudo Fortress from Ocarina of Time. But I can't play that on this stream.
I think knowing that blending in at some point might be a factor. Maybe Turner would have the disguised self prepared just in case.
Do you cast it before reaching the city gates?
He'll have it as an option in his pocket, but not yet. He'd kind of like, well, actually, I guess I imagine on the road they'd be talking with with Wade and Hudson about what to expect. And like the joke conversation we had earlier out of character, you'll actually mention in character. So is there any sort of like a hierarchy of classes of people that we need to be mindful about?
What hell is there?
No. There are some clans that go back to very old history of Mamelon, where like, oh, if you're part of this family or whatever, that's a good amount of influence. But not really, not these days.
Yeah, nothing official. We're all just prideful folk.
Am I gonna get, like, ripped off if I try to shop there or something?
But I didn't know there are all lines there.
If we do it together, probably not.
Yeah,
Crim
just
is-
have Mere wait around. We'll talk to him.
Although,
Crim is currently like writing more notes than usual on his little message board, his necklace messages, like more specific ones, like I'm well trained and stuff like that, just in case he needs to blend in more and not freak people out about. Not only is it not a mammal, but it's a beast that speaks.
Mm.
Be advised, I don't have the same reputation I did during the war. Not here, but everyone's trying to move on.
Oh, they
Is
don't
that-
know you too well then.
I take it that's a good thing?
Indeed it is. I'd rather it be unknown than the cheetah who lost the war.
Mamelon, a bastion of a city. You reach it along with many other people that are going to and fro. It might call to mind images of medieval castles, tall turrets, old, proud and strong stone, and walls, clearly demarcating that there is the stuff outside of Mamelon, and there is what is within Mamelon. Although there are plenty of farms and homesteads and stuff on the periphery. Reach the city gates, and up, inscribed in very large letters for all to see as they approach, is a long list of laws. It's no wonder they call this place the City of Laws. Some are very self-explanatory, like do not attack or harm other people intentionally. No stealing, blah, 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 blah. Some are very specific, like past sunset, you are not allowed to shriek at a volume that can be heard of this distance away, or even more obscure and specific, like you are not allowed to say these words: outdate, reparation, destroy action, even some made-up words, on these specific days or in the presence of these specific people.
What the fuck?
God, this is like give me some like. Sorry if this is like too real, but it's like that's almost making me think of like modern day Germany.
Yeah, it's just
No,
a bit of
the-
memory.
Those are. Yeah, it's making like Crim's looking it over and it's making his head spin. Like that's some specific rules. He tries like, what day is it today? He's thinking in his
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get used to it.
You
I
are
guess that depends on the intent as well. But anyway,
I doubt they even enforce half of these.
do you wish
How
to
can they even
test it?
remember them?
Do you wish to test it?
I mean, I could.
Crim asks
We're
Huston quietly when no one's quite looking. Is there a reason why there are all these specific rules and laws?
oh,
I would guess some have to do with some of their not so distant history.
well, the way I understand it, it's an old place, old enough that the forest was named after it. Back in the Exodus, after the scatter, I guess they really wanted to differentiate themselves from Karifi, and they set up a whole bunch of laws to give a sense of purpose. They wanted to develop a certain way, be unique. Kind of made some, what do you call them, idiosyncrasies? I don't know. They're particular here. Probably an orderly place, huh?
It has its quirks, but it's home.
You approach, there's an uplifted reindeer, an uplifted elephant to eye you, especially you, Crim, but you're just one of many traders with some obvious goods on the wagons, and they let you through without any incident. On the other side are signposts on either side of the road that state ignorance of the law is an invalid excuse when the law is broken.
Friendly.
Turner looks to Cashmere again, then says, "Are you having second thoughts about testing it?"
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll put in a good word for you.
I'm sure they get jokesters all the time. Whatever. Forget it. Forget it. Never mind.
We did. Yeah, we could end up somewhere.
They did. They
Yeah,
were never
accurate.
seen again.
That's a signpost that says, if you are a hare and a jokester, you will be killed on sight. Just kidding. You go along narrow streets, brick stone, very little plant growth here. And then Hassan says words indicating it's that same old routine you're familiar with now. Like, let's find a place. There's a market street over there. I've got to find a permit this time. And if you guys could help me sell, or maybe find some lodgings for the lizards while I do that, find us some rooms. We got to make some money today.
I could put in a good word to Mom and Dad, see if they'll let us stay over at my place.
What does that look that Tal has there?
Hmm.
Do they have the accommodations for 5 of us?
We have to pull up the cots, but we'd like to have the room at least. Call it a sleepover.
How privileged were you? I had to share a cot with 12 others. Or sorry,
Our
I got a
family
wagon
was-
with like 12 others.
The crossing's name was pretty distinguished during the Old War. Part of how I rose through the ranks so quickly. A bit less so nowadays, but
Ah,
still some prestige to it.
So you're what they would call a Nepo baby. A Nepo cub.
They gave me a high example to follow. I've had some difficulty with that as of late.
No offense, Wade. We're here on business, not a friendly escapade. I mean, as much as I want to see your baby pictures, I think we can just get a hotel room.
Oh, I want to see Wade's baby pictures.
Yeah, my fur looked horrible growing up.
I don't think there'd be any harm in him seeing his family.
Well, I'm just saying we don't have to stay over there.
Yeah, you can have your own accommodations by all means. Although, if you want to hear some more war stories, we can indulge you day and night.
I am sure you would.
I think, all due respect, I think I've had my fill on war stories, Wade.
Fair enough.
Yeah, what about some peace stories? We need more of those.
Theirs are usually more heroic than mine.
They usually come after the war stories.
Does anyone wish to accompany Wade to family residence for lodging, or not?
Crim's totally going to accommodate, if only because the parents will probably be more understanding of having a dragon in the hotel as opposed to just, hanging out in the home or something. I feel like that's easier to pass. And also, he wants to see the baby pictures.
That's the important part. All right, let's try to get another commission before next session.
All right. Well, Wade, do you wish to describe the residence that you two travel to? And lovely
God.
Sen and Tem, I believe.
Tem, I pronounced those names. That's probably a horrible butchering of.
I think it's Tem. The river. Well, I shouldn't have said that.
Sen and Tem. Let's do Sen and Tem. All right. Okay. I just imagine it's like one of those like upper crest, like old money, like apartment blocks, like half houses, or like little like ornate like fretwork on the side, but still pretty small comparatively. Like the place someone with wealth would retire to, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Like in one of like the upper districts. But yeah, I didn't think too much like description wise for the actual lodgings.
That's okay. You open the door. Well, no, you knock on the door because it's locked, because that's how places work. And
sure.
you hear
a key.
I'll get it. And some creaks and walks, and then the door opens, and you see an elderly, thin, frail-looking cheetah, whose eyes alight, graying as they are, on you, Wade. And then you are embraced.
Yeah, come back happily. I'm sure they'll have like the traditional what have yous growing up. How you been? Oh, I've been doing this and such. Good to see him up.
Recognizing they're like old and frail, Crim kind of makes himself look a little smaller, so it's not too scary. He's only like 4 feet tall on all fours, so it's not too bad. But he still recognizes.
They almost seem like they're what's the term? When you're like older than biologically you should be. Like scrutinizing them more closely, maybe 60s, would you say, Wade? But
Yeah.
she looks like she's been through a lot physically, so.
Has Deb been alright? Any trouble moving around, or?
Oh, he's great. He's in his favorite armchair. We were just listening to the music box. That's
Nice.
right. That's what we were doing.
Excellent. And he gave me the old what have yous and just like try to explain the situation. Hey, I got here some of my friends I've been traveling with. Could they stay over for a bit and such?
Yes, yes, welcome. You're all welcome in. Has the old Colonel Macduff got you doing some more fun work these days, Wade?
It's been quite the adventure, one way or another. There's a few things I can talk to you about, like the more serious, which should be talked over tea. But it's been a hell of a journey.
Love to hear it. And she and a wolf who you find sitting in a cushy chair stands up. They stiffly and very formally kind of shake all of your, well, just your hand, Wade, and then do you announce yourself as a sapient being, Crim, or?
I think that would have been part of the Wade's explanation. So Crim's like, hello. He's
Also,
very shy suddenly.
Wait a second, Dal. He can't stand up.
Ah, right. He remains seated. Forgive me. She apologizes for bending reality.
Well,
They are interested in you. Reminds me of some of the dragons that served back in the war. You wouldn't happen to be a descendant of those brave warriors, would you? Crim?
no, just awakened.
Just awakened. How humble. Well,
Yeah, and we don't have to get too much into this if you guys want. Like we can just
I'm
keep it
okay
brief.
with however you want to do it.
yeah, well, they do what they can to provide hospitality. They seem to have a very simple life, a very repetitive life. And the place, the apartment, I guess, would be decorated with all sorts of magical photographs, or rather, portraits and such, memorabilia, ribbons, medals. Somebody who lived here was quite decorated, or multiple were, perhaps more accurately.
Wade seems more solemn, seeing like presumably like the little photos of like him growing up with his brother.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
But, you're treated to a different sort of hospitality that feels old-fashioned and proper.
Yes. Alright, cool.
Meanwhile, you guys do anything in particular, or shall we similarly just say you find lodgings and such?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Kind of following
One thing I
on
should
how
note-
much he wants to get into that.
Yeah, one thing I want to note. Crim seems to pick up on like the proper etiquette and stuff oddly easily. That's all.
Okay.
I do feel like you're trying to hint at something, but at the same time, it's like, well, we know he's not really an uplifted dragon. We know he was always a person, so that doesn't seem out of the ordinary too much.
No, like the old-fashioned traditional kind of thing. Specifically,
Okay.
just like you wouldn't think someone who'd been fucking dying would be too familiar, but it's not super important. Just something to note.
Okay.
One thing I want to get into, Turner, Cash, and Alex, as you are trying to find your way to some reasonable lodgings, you pass a cafe that looks like it's recently been destroyed and almost fully now repaired. Some construction crews there. There's currently an interview happening. Someone with a uniform looks like they're writing things down rapidly, perhaps for some sort of news source. And you overhear what they're saying as you pass by. The reporter person who's interviewing someone who seems to be a proprietor of this cafe establishment. Reporter is a bovine man, bull of some kind. He is saying, so as I understand, this public freakout by this local river otter has caused, while the destruction was substantial, it has now back on track and you're planning to open in just 2 weeks. Is that right? And the proprietor says, yes, blah, 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 and the ball goes on. We've interviewed a koi fish who meekly told us that, yes, his species is known for a holy or sacred kind of longevity. They're considered blessed, even if it's just their biology. Would you agree that this otter was speaking truth when he went on his small rampage? I mean, is that an apt term for these phenomena? And the proprietor, who we'll say is actually a parakeet uplifted, says, yes, we don't have any special knowledge that other people don't. We just run this establishment where this outbreak happened to occur. We are not affiliated, nor do we know this otter personally.
What are you doing, man?
And unless you have stopped to over-listen or whatever, that's kind of what you would overhear in your slow pace of walking.
I think Turner would slow down to get more of an earful.
Yeah, and Cashmere would lean over to Alex and say, like, you don't think that's our guy, is it? He can swim. Could have gotten here faster than us.
The reporter goes on as you're talking. And is it true that as he was, as you say, freaking out, he was calling them koi, like the fish that we interviewed? Yes, that's right. Fascinating. We wonder what could have caused his strange reaction. Apparently there was moaning and screaming as he was breaking things. A complete psychotic breakdown. And again, the cafe guy's just like, yes, can we talk about the cafe reopening now? And the topic begins to shift.
Capitalism.
Turner would just maybe, just kind of like very, meekly just say, pardon me, where would we find this story after it is printed?
Oh. Hello, I'm Quakel, Mamelon Central News. Who are you?
We're travelers here working with, the silk company whose name is not off the top of my head right now, but...
Okay.
Swamp Silk.
Yeah, thank you. The Swamp Silk.
Not locals? Well, don't trust all the news. Get it from Mamelon Central News. That's the trustworthy source around here. You could find it printed in the issue tomorrow. It'll be going high road to Karifi, but if you all be here the night, you'll see it in the morning.
Thank you.
Right.
Turner will remember that.
Mamelon and Wade are just like all of the war flashbacks.
yeah. That's right. I guess we would wait to watch. Just want to say one last thing to his folks before they head out.
Yeah, please do.
Gotcha.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I just give him a little hug, presumably while they're leaving, and just he looks a bit solemn, I guess, as he just like takes like the whistle around his neck. It's all like rested and brassy and such. Just kind of like looks to it. I wanted to thank you, Mom, Dad, for the example you've given me growing up. For so long, all I could think about was living up to your valiant deeds, which you've done. It's been many years since then. I find today that unfortunately, I don't think I can, even if I ever should. But I hope, I have faith that with my friends, I can make something different, something better of myself. Just involve me being like you.
Mm-hmm. Your mother would be quiet. Your father would say something along the lines of that he never wanted you to follow exactly in their footsteps. But yeah, indeed, with propriety and selflessness, yeah, make your own path.
Yeah, and I just have one more favor to ask of you. Please don't ask me why, but if you could write down anything you wanted to say before, anything that was left unsaid, please write it down and give it to me.
This creates concern.
It's nothing
Is
to be
Crim
concerned.
around?
I think should we just say that this is being said while the others are looking for lodging, and he's maybe staying back with his folks or something, unless they
I think only
somebody
Crim-
wanted to be there. Oh, or
I'm
was
fine
it still
if you guys want to be. I'm fine if you guys want to be there for it. It's
Oh,
fine. It's
was
cool.
Crim still there?
Yeah, Crim was sticking around.
Oh, okay,
I was
okay,
under
okay.
the impression that
Gotcha.
I wasn't sure if this was after or not, but like the day after.
Maybe in the
I-
morning before meeting up with you.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, Crim would be there. He would have stayed because he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to draw too much attention in a place that is like it's kind of on the sensitive side.
Valid.
He would remark, "Oh, it's just a little dangerous, but it's not like we're running to our deaths or anything. It's just dangerous world out there and things like that. After some things we saw, it'll be okay. I'll protect him."
He does quite a good job at that. He has very big wings.
Okay, yeah, they don't ask you, then. They respect your wishes, but they would, provide you with... Let me write down. Yeah, they might provide you with a little slip of paper that's folded by 4 parts to give to you to take with you.
Also the whole deer. Yeah. I guess sometime if they ever had any more free time, I guess we would also like... If he'd be alone for this, just like Cashmere, but like he'd walk to one of those like... those like World War II memorials where there's just endless rows upon rows of identical crosses and memorials. You just find one right in the middle, maybe at the bottom left, and just say a few words, leave some flowers, then head back.
Okay. And I'll have those words of things that went unsaid for you before next session, I think.
No. Oh shit. All right, fair enough.
Okay. And also traveling back to last night real quick, once you guys find a tavern, you would find on the bottom floor where people might be looking for jobs or help clearing out the rats from their cellar or quests. There's a small area that is labeled travel advisories. You can tell by the font and the borders and the whole formatting of that section that it's intended to be like a small area, like, oh, be careful, there's bandits or some civil unrest in this city, whatever, right? But when you look at it, the list goes off the board, on and on and on.
What the hell?
2 full columns, footnotes, each by different authors. You see contrasting information. You see what could be hysteria, things that could be old, things that could be new. About half of them are about Valandria, although many are clearly outdated at this point, saying, don't go. But you can tell there's a lot of stuff that's up in terms of travel news.
Well, it seems our work is going to be cut out for us if we've taken on this new role.
Does it correspond to the stuff we've been told before about certain weird stuff happening in areas? Does that like trace based on what was being said where people are coming from?
Yes, the 2 specific things that those Corvids had said, something about political changes in Naverby. Yeah, you can tell that is listed on there a couple times. There is like one mention of Sanswent, but it's unclear how to interpret it. Something about like discrepancies in people's experiences when they go there. It's like a you have to see it to believe it kind of thing.
I think I'll make a note of this, and then in the morning before we leave, take a look over it with Huston to get an idea of what might be in store for us ahead of us in our route.
Turner will note down things specifically for anywhere immediately nearby, as well as places north.
Okay, cool. Noted. And there's a couple other things too, but I think we should end the in-session part of session early today.
Oh,
Possibly.
I want to take just one very quick thing before we leave town. If possible, there's a little bit of shopping I'd like to do, so I don't know, we can maybe cover that off camera.
I don't think we're
Yeah, sounds
immediately
good.
leaving town, but
Yeah, still plenty of time to shop. Sounds good. Okay, so I don't think we should end Strim, because resonance.
Oh shit! Right.
Oh.
Resonance is not what it was in Boast 1 for those who are there. It
I had a
is
feeling.
revamped, new and improved. How to do this? This is way too much text to just copy and paste into.
So, does that mean we don't have to negotiate in DMs?
There'll probably still be a bit of that.
And so, I guess I'll say verbally for retrospect and those listening. So, resonance is a system that provides a novel way to alter, recycle, and kind of otherwise play with acquired magic items, new and old, to the party inventory. Each item kind of has a rarity. Well, no, it definitely has a rarity, uncommon, rare, etc. And each of those matches resonance quantity. How exactly that works, maybe you could find out in session, but mechanically, resonance is a currency. So if you do the disenchantment process, you can break a magic item and gain resonance from it. You can expend that resonance to do other Eidos processes, such as heightening, which is when you make the enchantment, the magic that's on it, more powerful or slightly different. You can also do synthesis, which was demonstrated in session today, where I wanted a magic arrow, but all I have is this magic bolt. Darn. Okay, well, boom, synthesis. Now you have the other one. There's also reversal, which lets you control Z things with some loss of resonance. And lastly, there is unification, which is very costly and basically allows you to remove attunement and have magic items be summonable and desummonable and kind of part of your being. Nascency is notably absent, at least right now, from Boast 1 processes, which was when you just say, I want an item that does this, and make it.
Good.
Questions?
Not so far.
Snap,
Okay.
any questions?
Seems clear.
Do we have the whole system where like we gain resonance by day, or it's
Yeah,
Oh yeah. How does that work now?
same way. For every hour of in-session gameplay, you get 1 resonance, and you also get resonance for disenchantment.
Right. Okay.
didn't we have to find exusia in the world to like actually do stuff? Or
Exusia is different from resonance.
Yeah.
Snap, did you have any questions?
Exusia is the catalyst that is used as part of resonance, but resonance is the other part of it. You need both, I believe.
Yeah. For our intents and purposes, when you have access to the Eidos processes to expend in whatever resonance, resonance is really the only currency that matters. If that makes
But
sense.
if we get some Exusia, we'll get their street cred.
Yeah, or maybe you will need to get some to have access to the more potent things. We'll see. I'm realizing I don't have a separate document. I'm not sure if I should do that or if I should just use the Discord channels, but either way, it'll be on Discord. So you can look at the costs and stuff and maybe start generating ideas for what you'd wish to do, because you will start off with a good amount of resonance.
Admittedly, a bit hard to do that if we don't have the nascency, because then we're kind of just limited to, I wonder what we'll get. Because, so there's not much to do. I guess heightening is an option.
oh wait, so our resonance is like it's like prorated, like we like get it before we even had the session.
That was how it was last
yeah.
time, yeah.
Yeah, in Boast 1 we got retroactive resonance, so...
Oh, cool.
How does this resonance work? Where exactly does it come from? And how have you already accrued some? We don't know.
Ooh.
No, we do.
I think we never found out in the last one either. It was
Yeah.
a forever question.
But yeah, heightening has been altered such that you can kind of create some novel effects.
But it has to be relevant to the base effect. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
but
Oh,
you can also feel free to, as I encouraged at the start of the campaign, oh, gee, I sure wish I had a sword that shot lightning. Hint, hint, Tal. Oh, what do you know? A sword that shoots lightning that could be altered further by heightening might show up at some point. So you guys got to communicate with me.
What he means by at some point is right before end. No. I have a question. If we make something with resonance, only we can attune to it. If it's something to be attuned with, is that still the case?
You can't create new magic items de novo with resonance, so that
No. Like, if we heighten something that requires attunement, can we then only be the ones who attune to it?
I think that was
Or
only
can that person who made it?
I think that was only a thing with the nascency or whatever that word was in Boast 1, right? Because like when you heighten stuff in Boast, I think other people could still use it. I don't know. It was just very.
I don't remember.
It was just very
remember
weirdly
that.
restricting
Okay.
for that part of the process.
yeah, I think it'll be if it's an item that needs attunement, it'll be attunement, but anyone can attune. If it doesn't need attunement, it won't gain attunement.
Okay.
But if it gets weird, like, oh, let's all funnel resonance to this person to make the super sword or something like that, we'll see. Yeah, I guess we don't need to be on stream too much longer for this, so we can actually paste and look at the info.
Yeah, that'd probably be a bit of a
Did
boring
it.
thing.
Yeah, and in addition, after having defeated the Dark Druids, dealing with the
We did
Landria,
it!
trapping down Garrick, traveling, whoa, you've leveled up!
Whoa!
We leveled up. Crim can eat people now.
Yes!
Let's go!
Oh my god, Turner's claws have gotten much more ferocious.
Oh my god.
Whoa!
Not really.
Okay, that's all I got. Thank you for that. Thanks for
Mhm.
session. Thanks for
Alright.
playing. Thanks for watching.
Thanks
Yeah.
for
We left a little
watching,
early, so-
everybody.
Thanks for
We'll
watching. Bye!
See you guys next time. The new current time is going to be kind
Right.
of the going forward for daylight savings time because
Daylight.
that's just how it be, you know. But all right, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye!
Bye.